to what I want to share with all of you tonight, I just love to take kind of a temperature of the room here. How many people are podcast listeners? Anybody listen to the podcast? I see a lot of people raising their hand. Let me know. Okay, cool. Lots of yeses. Well, thanks to all of you for your support over there. And so my message to you tonight, if you're a podcast listener, is going to sound very familiar because I just did an episode on this actually last week, and it's the topic of your core story. And so if you listen to that episode, hopefully you enjoyed it, you're going to get a reinforcement of that concept tonight, because I truly believe that this is the single most important topic that you will ever learn in not only your business, but I believe your entire life. Like, I'm not overhyping this when I say what I am about to teach you has the potential to not only change your business, but change your life forever. And I know that because I am a living example of what I am about to teach you can do in terms of helping you transform your results. So it's with great responsibility that I share this with you tonight, because this is going to be, I think, a turning point, quite frankly, for a lot of you. You're going to finally start to understand why you've been struggling and why you've been working really hard, but not seeing the results that you see other people having. If you're somebody that struggles with things like inconsistency and self-sabotage, if you're somebody that really is paralyzed by things like overwhelm and fear, you're going to realize why that happens. It all comes from the exact same place. And my hope is that I can help some of you get past that tonight. So I'm also curious, do we have any legacy leaders in the house? Do we have any people that are involved in the Legacy Leadership Academy? I know Jessica is one. I see a couple people raising their hands. Awesome. Cool. Well, always good to spend some time with you. So Jessica, can you do me a favor, and can you actually give me the host so I can share my screen? I've got some slides that I've prepared that I'd like to be able to kind of toggle back and forth with. And I promise I will keep an eye. So if you click on my scroll over my picture, and there are little three dots there in the corner, if you click on those, it will give you the ability to make me the host.
Got it.
Okay, cool. And you have a password set up, so there's no waiting room, right? People just are automatically approved, so I don't have to manage the waiting room or anything?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Cool. All right, so I want to be able to kind of toggle back and forth here on some of these slides and talk to all of you. But here's what I really want to start off talking about. For those of you that are unfamiliar with me and the training that we do, we are essentially, I consider what we do leadership development and training for this profession. And leadership training is such a broad topic because there's so many different parts that encompass that. But I teach a very different mindset and approach when it comes to building a network marketing business, your Plexus business. It's very different than what a lot of other people teach. Some of the things I'm sure that I'm going to share with you will sound familiar. You probably have heard a lot of them before, but never before have I ever seen anybody kind of put it together in the way that I'm about to present it to you tonight. And what I'm about to share with you is really a culmination of my 10-year career in this profession, and the last 5 years of really building a training company and having the good fortune to be able to work with a lot of very successful people. And here's what I noticed, is that there are certain things that when you look at the most successful people in this profession, that they all have in common. We hear this phrase, success leaves clues. It's very true. And I made it kind of my mission to try to figure out, how can I simplify the training process for people that are in this profession, that were just like me, that are struggling to create the results they want, working hard, right? Doubting themselves, wondering why other people are progressing and you're not, hitting that wall, getting stuck at that rank for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and no matter what you do, it can never make a difference. How can I simplify a process and really distill down all the training that exists in the world and just figure out what are the most important things that somebody needs to know to build a business in this profession successfully? And what I'm about to present to you is what I truly believe to be the formula for you literally creating anything you want in your life. And it's something that we call love, serve, grow. So about 3.5 years ago, I started this thing that I self-proclaimed the Legacy Leader Movement. And we have actually we have a leadership certification program that's called the Legacy Leadership Academy. It's really the first program of its kind in the world. I'm going to be sharing some information. The information you're learning tonight is one of the most important things we teach in this program. And I'll just let you know, if you get value out of tonight and you think this is something you really need some help with, I'm going to be sharing with you, all of you, an offer of how you can actually be a part of that program if you want. But the legacy leader movement, in my mind, it's based on these three simple words, which we call love, serve, grow. And here's kind of the way that, here's what love, serve, grow teaches us. If we can put love at the center of our business and our life, that is really the first step to us creating the results that we want. Because here's the reality. Most people in this profession, they operate from scarcity and fear. And they do this without even realizing, and it creates a really big issue for them in their business. They never truly find the freedom and fulfillment and big results they're looking for because of that. But if we learn what it means to actually put love at the center of our business and our life, something important happens. It gives us the foundation to serve. Now, there's a big misconception that people have about Plexus, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now. And I say Plexus, but you could substitute any other company in this profession. One of the biggest misconceptions that people have about what you do is that it is a sales business. It is not a sales business. Matter of fact, some of you have been struggling because you've been approaching Plexus as if it was a sales business. You've been acting and thinking like a salesperson. And here's the problem. You can make money selling. Some of you can make good money selling, and you can have other people on your team that can do the same. But the problem is this: you will never build a real business that gives you true financial and time freedom approaching what you do from what I call a sales mindset. Here's the reason why. Most of the people that you know are not sales types. And if you are acting like a salesperson and you are teaching and utilizing sales techniques and strategies, you will never see true duplication in your business, because eventually people will either be turned off by what you're doing in terms of building a business, or they just flat out will not be able to do what you do. And that's where your business begins to stop growing. See, here's one of the most important things I learned about network marketing is it's not a sales business, it's a business of service. Service is the key to you unlocking the big results that you want. I can promise you this, there is not a single ultra successful person in this profession that is not only financially successful, but I'm talking about is living the kind of life you want, where they have true time freedom and they're just doing it the right way. I promise you there's not a single one of them that thinks of themselves as a salesperson. They truly view what they do in sharing your products and business with people as a form of service. Now, what's the difference between sales and service? Well, it's pretty simple. Service is focusing more on other people's results than you do your own. I define service as adding value to the lives of others by helping them solve problems. See, when you adopt a service mindset, you stop thinking and looking at yourself like a salesperson, and you start looking at yourself as a paid problem solver. Now, service is a very important thing. We're going to talk about how do we serve in our business. What's the number one way we do that? But here's the third part of the love, serve, grow formula. If we put love at the center of our business and our life, that gives us the foundation to serve. Now, that's important because fear will never allow you to serve. Fear and scarcity will never allow you to focus on other people's results long enough for it to actually make a difference, because you'll always be worried about yourself. When we're leading with fear, we need someone else to say yes in order to feel better about ourselves. When we have stories of scarcity and stories of us not being enough, we need somebody to join and be successful to affirm our sense of self-worth. We need somebody to like our Instagram posts in order for us to feel like we have something to offer the world. You're never going to create what you want from scarcity and fear. But if you start with the foundation of love, and I'm going to teach you how to do this tonight, that gives you the foundation to serve. You stop focusing on yourself. You have the courage to push past your fear, and you start extending yourself for the benefit of others. You start showing up in the world and doing things that you would have never have done before, because you are literally now passionate about helping solve problems and change people's lives. Your business has truly become an extension of your purpose. And what happens is, as we begin to do that, extend ourselves through acts of service, past our comfort zone, we begin to grow. And here's the thing. Every single thing that you want in your business is a byproduct of growth. See, I'm on a mission to redefine success in our profession, because we live in a world today where social media will tell us success is just having a lot of money and living some sort of this scripted lifestyle of perfection that we all, these unattainable standards that none of us can live up to. We think success is making a certain amount of money, or we think success is hitting diamond. Now you may say, well, I mean, that you hit diamond, that's a great accomplishment. It is. But here's the thing. If your definition of success is so narrow that it's some arbitrary rank or number or goal, all you are doing is setting yourself up for failure. Because what if you don't hit that goal? See, I believe that we need to redefine success. Success is not an outcome. Success is not an achievement. Success is not a destination. Success is growth. Success is process. Success is showing up. I believe you are successful every single day that you show up from a place of love and you serve and you give it your all. As you grow, you are successful. See, but here's the thing. If we stop focusing on the results, which we ultimately will never have control over, and we instead start to focus on our own journey and us growing in our business, you will begin to attract every single thing you want as a byproduct. Now, am I saying you shouldn't shoot for diamond? Not at all. See, when you're practicing love, serve, grow, it doesn't mean that you don't have goals. It doesn't mean that you don't have ambition, but you start having ambition around something more important. It's around purpose, and it's around meaning. We stop focusing on the money and the success, thinking that that's going to make us feel better. By the way, it never will. There's no amount of money or success in the world that will ever make you feel any different or better than you do right now. See, there are people in your company, I'm telling you right now, that have spent years sacrificing everything at the altar of success, trying to chase this thing that you call diamond, thinking that when they get there, their life will magically be better and they'll have no more problems and they'll feel whole. Never to realize if you create success from scarcity, all you will attract is more of that into your life. There are people that have literally hit diamond, and after the initial excitement wore off, felt worse than they did when they started. Because now they feel like even more of an imposter, because they still feel unworthy. They still have these stories of not being enough. They thought this big accomplishment would make them feel better, and it didn't. And now they beat themselves up and say, what's wrong with me? I feel like an imposter. Everybody's looking at me like I've got it all together, and I know I don't. And now they're more afraid of losing what they've created than they are appreciating what they have. You will never create what you want in your life from scarcity and fear. It is a race you will never win. So the gift that Love, Serve, Grow gives us, it puts us on a different path. It sets a different trajectory for our business. It allows us to get on the path of not only true financial freedom, but fulfillment. And that's what I want to share with you today, this thing that we call Love, Serve, Grow. I'm going to tactically break it down for you, but we're going to really focus on the first part, which is the most important, which is love. So let me share my screen here real quick, and let me kind of show you the way this works. And then when I'm done here, I'll get through this as quickly as possible, and I'll make sure we leave some time for questions. So I've already introduced you to the three parts of the framework, love, serve, and grow. Here's how they actually translate into areas of focus. Because I will tell you right now, your problem right now in your business, whether you realize it or not, is not a lack of time. It is a lack of focus. That's your problem. Your problem is that you know too much stuff. You don't have an information problem. You have an execution problem. You don't know where to start. You're confused. You've got no plan. You lack focus and you lack alignment. See, love, serve, grow, the two most important things it gives us. And when you have these things, you are literally unstoppable, are focus and alignment. See, the first thing it gives us is focus. And what I'm about to share with you are literally the 3 elements that make up every single successful business in this profession. I challenge you to find anyone that is super successful in this profession that is not absolutely mastered each of these 3 things. The first part of the framework is love. And love is defined by one simple word. And that word is belief. Love means having strong belief. That's it. Belief is literally the most important thing in your life. If you lack belief in yourself and what you're doing, you will never create the results that you want. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we build belief, because here's the thing. We hear belief thrown around all the time in this profession. Like, I remember the day I signed up, my mentor said, Bob, you got to believe. And I was like, okay, that sounds nice. But I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how, like, I don't understand. How do you believe? Like, how does somebody that literally has never thought about owning a business before? I've never really been successful in anything in my life. I was a C student, barely graduated. I've never been a leader of anything. And now I joined this thing called network marketing, and you're telling me I just have to believe that someday I'm going to become this super galactic superstar leader that's going to change the world. So, like, how does that happen? How do I snap my fingers and just start doing it? How do I forget my past? How do I not look at what's in front of me and think that someday that's going to change? See, everybody talks about belief, but nobody actually knows how to get it. Well, the thing that I am most passionate about is we figured out a way to teach you. We have a step-by-step process that we teach you how to build belief that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. But that's the first part. If you don't do this, I'm telling you, nothing else you do will ever matter. Here's the second part of the framework. Oh, and by the way, when you have the foundation of strong belief, it gives you something that we call personal freedom. See, in our programs, our mission for all of our students is to help them achieve something that we call total freedom in their life. See, a lot of people, we hear freedom thrown around, but we only think about the financial part of it. Right? We also think of time freedom, but the reality is most people are not building their business in a way that it will ever give them time freedom. I would argue that this is the most important of all freedoms. Personal freedom is the ability for you to be yourself in your business. To have your business be an extension of your most authentic self. To not feel like an imposter and not have to try to be someone you're not. Like, I'm talking about total alignment. Most people lack this. And it's the reason why you'll never find fulfillment in your business without personal freedom. So we start with belief in this Love, Serve, Grow framework. This is literally the framework that our program is built upon this. We help people believe. Here's the second part, service. Now, I define service in one way, systems. See, the reality is this. If you're operating from a sales mindset, you can go out and you can create personal results for yourself, and maybe there'll be a handful of other people that can achieve a similar result, but you will never see people winning on a big level with a sales mindset. See, if service is helping people solve problems, what we need to start thinking about is how can we solve problems in a more scalable way? And the answer is systems. And by the way, if you don't have systems in your business, you don't have a business. Like, by definition, if your business doesn't run without you, it's not a business, it is a job. And some of you, all you have is a nice paying job. But here's the problem. It's literally the worst job in the world because you can't leave it. Like, when I worked in a bank, when I left the office at 5 o'clock on Friday, I didn't have to think about work until 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Your job, you literally can't detach from it. It is 24/7, and for some of you, it's barely even paying you. Think about how hard you're working for such little results. Well, I got a big light bulb moment for you here. Working harder is not the key to success. Working smarter is. You'll never achieve true time freedom and the really big results just focusing on trying to work harder. You must work smarter. And working smarter is implementing systems. You need systems for everything in your business. Systems are the only thing that will give you time freedom. So this is the second area of focus for all of our students is we teach them. We have, we call it the 5 freedom systems. And I'll just go through these quickly. But if you just have these 5 systems in your business, you are literally on the fast track to creating a business that will give you time freedom. Number 1 is prospecting. Number 2 is marketing. Marketing is really social media, but you need a systematic way to approach social media. Number 3 is onboarding. Number 4 is accountability. And number 5 is retention. What we do is we teach our students how to implement each of these systems in their business. But you have to have systems. That's the second piece. Here's the third piece of the framework, which is the grow part. And that's all about you. Grow is all about leadership development. See, you can have all the belief in the world and you can have all the systems in place and you can go out and actually recruit people all day long. But if you haven't developed yourself as a leader to be able to move people through the systems, to influence them, to motivate them, to help them grow into leaders, none of it is going to make a difference. You're never going to get the big money in your business. See, you've got to grow yourself as a leader so you have the capacity to grow others. Your ability to grow determines your capacity to lead. And I believe that Plexus is really nothing more than a leadership development program with a compensation plan attached to it. Your ability to become financially successful will be determined by your ability to grow yourself and others as leaders on your team. You will never have financial freedom without strong, independent leaders because your business will always require you to be there. And that's not what we want. But when we tackle this last piece, now we have financial freedom. And here's the power of all 3 of these things. When we've put all 3 of these pieces in place, this is the foundation. We now have the foundation to someday build us a business that gives us total freedom in our life. And I want you to think about how would it feel to be able to have all of these 3 things? To not only have the financial success, but have the time freedom for you to do the things that are most important with you. And know that your business is in total alignment with the things that you value the most in life. That you can truly just show up as who you are. And that the simple act of building your business is the very thing that fulfills you. Now, this may sound like kind of a pipe dream, but I'm telling you it's not. We are teaching our students how to do this every single day. But the problem is this. If you've been struggling to create the results that you want, I can almost guarantee you've been missing at least one of these 3 things. So when I say that your problem is not a lack of time, it's just a lack of focus. See, working smarter is learning how to focus on these 3 things because these are the 3 things that will give you the best chance to create the kind of business that you actually want. And that's an important point because so few of us actually think about what we really want. Like there's so many people in this profession that are working so hard to try to hit this goal that they think will make their life better, but they've never taken the time to actually ask themselves, what do I want my life to look like? And how about this? How do I want to feel when I get to where I want to go? So you start asking yourself those questions, it will require you to start doing different things. And these are the things that you focus on. So that is the Love, Serve, Grow framework. Now in this training today, I want to talk to you about the first part, which is love. Okay, I think there's a couple of slides here on belief. And here's the reason why belief is so important, right? We're going to talk about belief. Is because limited beliefs guarantee limited results 100% of the time. If you have limiting beliefs about yourself and what you do, you will never be able to create the results you want. And here's where the wake-up call comes in for a lot of you. Your inability to create the results you want is not due to a lack of ability. It is due to a lack of belief. See, when you finally understand this and you learn what I'm teaching you and you understand what it means to have belief, your life can transform in a moment. Look, we have students of ours that come into our program, the Legacy Leadership Academy, that are stuck for years, that within a matter of days see a total breakthrough. And the reason why is because when you finally understand the power of belief, there's nothing that will transform your life faster. I'll share a quick story with you. So this is actually one of our students, Lisa. Lisa had been in her company for 7 years stuck. She was literally ready to quit. And as a matter of fact, the 8 months prior to joining, she had not recruited a single person. And get this, within 48 hours of starting, she had 2 new recruits and 6 customers, and she rank advanced. She said, the sudden shift for me came first and foremost from a new mindset and a different approach. She says, I finally feel confident and like I'm actually running a business. And I said, I interviewed Lisa when I heard her story. I said, I have to talk to her. I got to find out what happened. And it's so funny. Lisa said the same thing to me that so many of our students do. She said, Bob, she goes, here's what's so interesting. She's like, I joined your program because I thought I needed systems. And I know that that's like something you specialize in. But she said, what I didn't realize you were going to give me is a gift that is an awareness of a gift that I only could have given myself. And she said, you taught me for the last 7 years, I've never believed in myself. She said, you made me realize I've literally never even given myself a chance to be successful. I was working hard. I was doing everything I was taught, but none of it was making a difference because I lacked the foundation of belief. And I'll tell you, these are the stories that literally wake me up in the morning and get me excited about doing what I'm doing. Like, I truly believe, for me, my purpose in life is to just teach people that belief is something that is inside of you. You just need to learn how to manufacture it. And that's what I'm going to help you do tonight. So how do we believe? Well, here's the way that we teach our students. It's something we call the formula for transformation. It is a step-by-step blueprint that will teach you how to build strong belief in any area of your life. Here's the way that it works. So we have what we call the circumstance of our life. Circumstances of your life are just the facts of your life. They're, the size of your team is a circumstance of your life, the amount of money that you make, all of your results, where you live, your race, your religion, right? Your relationships. These are just the facts of our life. They just are what are. The problem that most of us have is this: we don't experience life as it is. We experience life as we perceive it to be. So what we do is this: our beliefs actually become the lens from which we view the world. Now, we prefer a different term for belief that I find to be much more powerful, and that term is story. Your beliefs are really just stories that you make up and tell yourself. And here's what we do. We look to the circumstances of our life and we create a story around that circumstance. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say that the circumstance of your life is you've been in Plexus for 3 years and you only have 1 active team member. So that's a circumstance. You can't argue that. It is a fact. Now, here's where some people really struggle in the beginning when they learn this. Circumstances are not positive or they're not positive or negative. They're neutral. They're not good or bad. They're only what you make them to be. Now, you might say, well, Bob, what do you mean? 3 years, 1 person, I should be further ahead than that. Well, your story that you're choosing to create is you should be further ahead than that. My question to you is this: when you tell yourself that story, when you think that you should be further ahead than you are, how does that make you feel? Because that's the next part of this. The story we tell ourselves creates a feeling. And I can promise you one thing: you tell yourself a negative story, you're not going to feel very good. See, when you tell yourself that story, I should be further ahead, you feel unworthy. You feel discouraged. You feel overwhelmed. And what we have to realize is our feelings determine the quality of our actions. And our actions create our results. Now, here's the way this plays out. Here's the biggest mistake that people make. So if I were to ask you a question, I'm going to give you a little pop quiz here real quick. If I were to ask you, what is it that and you, Jessica and LLA people, you cannot answer this question. Okay, you don't cheat. If I were to ask you what creates your results, what would you say to me? What is it that creates your results? Drop a comment. Let me know. Action. Jennifer says action. Cheryl says action. Rebecca says being genuine. Action. Working harder. Action. Action. Okay, Alicia got the right answer. But the answer that I get 99% of the time, especially if I haven't taught this to people, 99% of the time people will say your actions. And one of the most life-changing realizations that the formula teaches us is this: your actions do not create your results. You want me to prove it to you right now? How many of you on this Zoom right now are already doing everything you're being taught? You're literally using the same scripts, the same words, like you are doing everything, but it's not working for you. How many of you are doing that? Doing all the right things, but it's still not creating results? Lots of you. Now, I want you to ask this. I want you to think about this. How could that be humanly possible? Well, it's only for one simple reason. Your actions aren't what create your results. Here's what creates your results. It is the intentions and the feelings behind your actions. What are intentions and feelings? Well, they're just belief and stories. See, what really matters is if you don't have strong belief behind the words that you're using and the actions you're taking, it's still not going to make a difference, because negative stories, limiting beliefs always result in negative results. 100% of the time. You can work as hard as you want. See, the biggest mistake that people will make in this profession is they will start off the year like they start every year. I just need to work harder this year. But they will never address the underlying lack of belief, and they will find themselves in the exact same place a year from today that they are today. And I am here to tell you, you cannot afford to let another year go by stuck in the same place. And the way that you're going to finally change this is stop focusing on the actions and start focusing on belief and the stories that you are telling yourself, because that is where transformation happens. So we literally teach this and we walk our students through it. But tonight, I'm going to share with you the most important story. See, because when it comes to story, here's the way it works. You have the circumstances, which are the facts. Those are neutral. What we do is we are constantly interpreting the circumstances of our life in either a negative or a positive way. So we are making up either red light or green light stories. Now, if we think of the analogy of a stoplight, a red light causes us to do what? Stop in our tracks. So let me give you an example. You do this when you're prospecting all the time. You want to share your products or your business with somebody, and you feel fear, and you freeze up, and you feel paralyzed. Now, you have to ask yourself, where does fear come from? Well, any negative emotion only comes from a red light story. So without you realizing, what you did in that moment was you imagined that reaching out to that person was not going to go the way you wanted, and you felt afraid, and it kept you from doing it. Look, all fear is you imagining a negative outcome for an action you haven't even taken yet. And what you do all day long is you create these red light stories. You have these negative thoughts, these limiting beliefs that keep you from showing up in the world. Or you still do reach out, you still do share your product or your business with people, but you do it in such a weak and ineffective way. Because do you really think if you have a story playing in your mind that you're not worthy and people are not going to take you seriously and you're not good enough, do you really think people are going to want to buy from you and join you? They're not. Because you want to know what people are attracted to? Belief. Confidence and belief. Confidence is a byproduct of belief. And that's what a lot of you have been lacking. But here's the other side of it. A green light story is just a positive interpretation, right? It's imagining, if fear is imagining it's going to go wrong, a green light story is based in faith. All faith is imagining it's going to go right. But here's what's so powerful. Either way, you're just going to make up a story. You're either going to realize you're doing it and start choosing stories that help you and create the feelings you want, or you're going to continue to let your stories define you. See, what we teach people how to do is become the author of their life and start defining the stories that they want to go out and live the life that they truly deserve. That's what the formula teaches you. But when it comes to red light and green light stories, here's what happens to a lot of our students. We teach them this concept of red light story, and they get kind of screwed up for a little bit because they start realizing how much they do this to themselves, and they start getting a little overwhelmed thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? Like literally it's red light story after red light story. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to tackle every single one of them, because every red light story you have in your life can be directly traced back to one story, and that is your core story. Your core story is the story that you tell yourself about yourself. And what I am about to share with you, I will tell you, will be, and I'm not hyping this stuff up. This is going to be the most important thing you've ever heard in your life. Like straight up, no hype. If you understand what I am about to teach you, it will literally change your life forever. It will make you a more successful business person. It will make you a better mom. It will make you a better wife, a better dad, a better husband. It will literally enhance and improve every single aspect of your life almost instantaneously once you start doing this. So if I haven't built up enough curiosity and suspense, let's get started and let's talk about it. So here's your core story. In every moment of your life, you are operating from one of two different core stories. And those two core stories are either one that is based in love, and we call that a green light core story. So a green light core story, which is based in love, and if we go back to the Love, Serve, Grow framework, remember, this is the most important first part. A green core light story, which is the story that you are telling yourself about yourself, is one where you are worthy. One where you are capable. One where you base your value, not in what you do, but who you are. See, when you're operating from a green light core story, you are basing your value in the simple fact that you exist. See, for me, I had to come to the realization that I am worthy because for me personally, as a person of faith, I was created in God's image. And every single second that I spend judging that creation instead of marveling at it, all that is a slight on him. But a green light core story is based in these things. A green light core story, you accept the miracle of your own existence. You accept the fact that you are imperfectly perfect. And because you do that, you take responsibility and ownership of your life. And I am here to tell you, this is the only place you will ever create what you want. Here's the problem. Most of us do not operate from a green light core story. We have in some parts of our life, we may, and you may flip back and forth, but if you're not having the results you want, it's for one reason and one reason only. You've been operating from a red light core story based in fear. Look, love and fear are literally the only two sources of every action in your entire life. Every thought, every single thing in your life comes from either love or fear. Fear is just the absence of love. Fear is a lie. Fear is an illusion. Fear is a story we tell ourselves. See, a red light core story, which is based in fear, is one that is based in scarcity, where there will never be enough. There'll never be enough time. There'll never be enough opportunity. Scarcity literally becomes the default setting for your life. It's one where you're not enough. We all have these stories of not being enough that we tell ourselves. A red light core story, you base your value in what you do. You attach your sense of self-worth to the rank you have, to how big your team is, to how much money you make, to how many followers you have on social media. A red light core story will always lead you to compare. Look, I got news for you. You didn't create yourself. God did. It's not your job to judge the creation. It's your job to accept it and marvel at it. Stop spending so much time wishing you were somebody you're not. And finally start accepting the miracle of your own existence. And from that place, you will finally be able to create what you want in life. But when you're operating from a red light core story of comparison, you're always going to have a tendency to play victim and blame others for your lack of success. Now, here's what's so interesting. When you finally learn, what the formula helps people do, something very important. You heard me talk about personal freedom. Personal freedom only comes when you learn how to master your mind. Mastering your mind means that you recognize in every single circumstance and situation of your life, you get to choose the story you tell yourself. Now, most people, they never get to where they want to go because they're not even aware they have a red light core story. See, our stories for most of us our beliefs, we don't even recognize that they're not actually true. See, some of you have been carrying a red light core story for almost your entire life. You bought someone else's opinion of you and accepted that as your truth. You had to become a version of yourself to do what you thought when maybe you were young and you had to become, you took on the identity of an overachiever because you felt like the way you got love was through your accomplishments. And that led you to developing a red light core story about yourself. And we carry this with us our whole life, and we never even recognize that this story is not true. We made it up. It is a lie. You get to decide your story. So we ultimately have a choice. And here is what I believe to be such a powerful analogy that perfectly illustrates the way that this begins to change. Because people say, well, Bob, okay, how do I change? Like how do I get a green light core story? And I'm going to explain to you exactly how right now. So I want you to imagine this analogy for a second. Let's say that you've spent your entire life staring down at the number 6 on the ground. And that number 6 represents your red light core story of scarcity, of not being enough, fear, comparison, basing your sense of self-worth in what you do, right? Constantly struggling with self-doubt and fear. It's just, you've spent your whole life looking at 6, and 6 has literally defined every single aspect of your life. 6 has kept you from trying. 6 has kept you from all the opportunities. 6 caused you to quit too early because you said, hey, what's the use of even trying? I'm not going to be able to do that anyway. Your entire life has been defined by 6, which is your red light core story of scarcity and fear. And here's the thing. You are 100% certain it is a 6. How could it not be? Bob, I mean, it's a 6. I've been looking at it my whole life. It's a 6. I'm a 6. Every day you look up in the mirror, you are a 6. And then you learn what I'm teaching you. And you start the process of learning how to master your mind. You start the journey to personal freedom. You finally realize that your beliefs are not true. They're just a story that you've held to for a long time. And like any story, there's always 2 different perspectives. There's always 2 different interpretations. And what the formula does, what personal freedom does, is it gives you the ability to step to the side for a moment and see a new perspective. And what I am inviting each and every one of you to do right now is tomorrow morning when you wake up and you look at the mirror, what if you no longer saw a 6 and instead you saw a 9? See, because here's what's interesting. There are people in the world that have gone through the exact same circumstances as you, that have lived the same kind of life as you, that have dealt with all the same challenges and all the same hurts and all the same adversity as you, but they choose to see a 9 and you see 6. It is a matter of perspective. It is a matter of focus. See, 9 is your green light core story. See, when you first learn this, here's what happens. You start beating yourself up because you think about all the missed opportunities and all the lost time, all the lives you could have changed, how different your life could have been today if you just wouldn't have seen a 6. But then you start to get excited because you say, wait a minute, Bob. So let me see if I get this straight here. So you're telling me that if I literally just start telling myself a different story right now today in this moment, a positive story, if I start looking at myself as a 9, if I create a green light core story that affirms my worth, that makes me feel different, feel positive, feel excited, feel inspired, and I go out and I start taking different actions, you're telling me that I am already creating a different and better life for myself? And I say yes. And that is why I tell you that transformation can happen in an instant. It's a simple shift in perspective. And what I want each and every one of you to take away from this, if nothing more, if you don't forget this, here's what I want you to remember. You are not a 6. You are a 9. That is how God created you. That is what you've always been. You just haven't been able to see it. Look, here's what I'll leave you with, and we'll take some questions. Here's another way to put this. You know, at times we look up at the sky, and the sky appears gray. And it's very easy for us in those moments to think that the sky is gray. But here's the thing that we have to understand. The sky is never gray. The sky is always blue. And the sun is always shining. Because that is how God created it to be. It cannot be anything but how it was created. Now, at times, we look up at the sky, and there are gray clouds that blind us from the brilliance of the blue sky and the sun. But you can be sure of one thing. I don't care how gray those clouds are. I don't care how stormy or rainy. You can be sure of one thing. The sun is still shining, and it is blue. And it will always be that way. And here's where this is such a powerful analogy for you. The same is for you. Your light is shining inside of you, waiting to get out. But your gray clouds are your broken ways of thinking. They're your limiting beliefs. They're your negative thoughts. It's your self-doubt. It's your fear. It's blinding you from the miracle of your own existence. See, the gift that I'm trying to give you is this: what you need is already inside of you. You will never be more worthy in your life than you are right now in the present moment. And you need to start believing that. Because here's the thing: if you start believing that, you are going to start to show up in the world in a way that you never have before. And if you do that consistently over time, your life and your business will never be the same. So let me share this with you really quick, and then I'll pop back on and we'll take some questions. So if any of you, and this is how I always say this: you're never going to be totally free until you learn how to love yourself. That's the personal freedom part. So many people miss this. And what I want you to realize is that the transformation that you've been waiting for is literally right on the other side of self-love and acceptance. And this is by far the number one area that we help our students. So real quick, for any of you that are interested, if you truly know that you need help, like hopefully I opened your eyes that this lack of belief, maybe this is the thing that's been holding you back. And maybe some of you are realizing that, you know, I think I've been operating from a red light core story and I need to change this. Well, I'm just going to tell you this right now. You're never going to be able to do this on your own. You will not do this on your own. You need a plan, and you need coaching to help you get there, right? Not only do we teach people this through the formula, but we literally coach people on this every single week. We do live coaching for all of our students in our program to help them work through this process that all of our students get access to. But if you really are truly serious about making this shift, if this concept that I talked to you about love, serve, grow, if that resonated with you, if you want to build a business that someday gives you total freedom, our entire program teaches people how to implement love, serve, grow into their business. And here are just a couple of examples of what some of our students have done. So Christy shared that she calculated her growth. Year over year, her team grew 108%. She attributes that to a shift in mindset. Bryce just shared this with us. She just completed the Love, Serve, Grow framework. There's 12 parts to it. She said when she started the program, she had one person on her team. The entire year, she did $10,000 in volume. Her whole team, the whole year. 1 year later, after going through our program, she now has 43 active people on her team, 18 of which joined just in the month of December. She had 6 people rank advance, 3 of those double ranked, including herself. And get this, she did 100,000 in volume the next year, 10x'd her volume year over year. And then Wendy said that I started this year with 1 team member, but I personally added 23 new people, and I have a team of 40. When I started the program, I was doing $3,000 a month. Now she's doing $30,000 a month. Now listen, I can't guarantee you that these kind of results are going to happen for you, because I don't know if you're going to be willing to implement and do the work. But I'll tell you one thing. If you truly are at a place where you're ready to make a change and you know that you need to do something different, then I'm telling you, this program will literally change your business and life forever if you're willing to do the work. So, so if you're interested, all you have to do is go to legacyleadershipacademy.com. You can see all the details of the program there. Now, we typically only open enrollment a couple of times per year, and it just so happens we are in an open enrollment period. So tomorrow is the last day to enroll. So we'll be closing enrollment at the end of the day tomorrow. Probably won't be opening it up again until, I think we're scheduled to maybe do it in March or April. So this will be your last chance for a while to sign up. But if you go to legacyleadershipacademy.com, you'll see two options to enroll. One of those is a 14-day free trial. So if you want, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial. You won't have to pay a cent until the end of the trial is done. If you cancel within those 14 days, you won't pay a cent. But if you decide you want to stick around, you'll be billed at our normal pricing, which will be all listed on the website there. But here's what I would challenge each and every one of you to do. At a bare minimum, do that. Get access to what I'm teaching you. Now, you might say, Bob, why would you do that? Well, I'll tell you why, just honestly, because most of you will get in and you'll never want to leave anyway. When you see the quality of the content, and when you actually see what Love, Serve, Grow is all about, you'll be like, this is the thing that I have needed since the first day I signed into my business. I just didn't know that there was a name for it. And I didn't know that it was put together in such a clear and concise way. Not to mention all of the weekly live coaching that we give people in our program for both mindset and business support. Every one of our students gets access to weekly group coaching sessions. So that alone, to me, is worth the price of admission. But go check that out, legacyleadershipacademy.com. Just make sure you do that before the end of the day tomorrow. And the very first thing that we are going to help you do is rewrite your core story. The first program you go through is the Formula for Transformation, and I will literally walk you through step by step a process of how to do that. And I'm telling you, some of you, here's why I'm excited. Some of you that are going to take me up on this offer, you are literally days away from your business completely transforming. And I can't wait to hear your story so I can talk about you on one of these Zooms in the future. So with that being said, Jessica, let me kick it back to you. And we got some time here to take some questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Absolutely loved it. I cannot explain how much we appreciate this. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
So let me answer Shan's question really quick. She said, "Is this doable while working a full-time job and doing Plexus?" Shan, the answer is absolutely yes. Because here's what I'm going to teach you how to do. I'm going to teach you how to work smarter. Love, Serve, Grow is working smarter. You know, I say this to people. And I'm not necessarily like saying it to you, Shan, I'm not picking on you, but it just brings up an important point. A lot of time we have this limiting belief that time is a limiting factor for success. And what we teach our students is this: if you can't create the results that you want in 3 hours a week, I could literally give you 30 hours a week and you will have the same results you have today. Because the same bad habits, the same inability to manage your thoughts and yourself in relation to time will just be even further highlighted with more time. Time is never your problem. It is always focus. What are you doing? What are you focusing on? So Shan, if I can teach you how to master your mind and not let your red light stories hold you back anymore, so you can have more confidence and belief, you will be so much more productive in the time you already have. It'll be crazy. And if over time we can help you implement the right systems so that your business runs without you, here's the way it's supposed to work, by the way. As you become more successful, if you build your business with the right foundation, you shouldn't have less time, you should have more time. The bigger your business gets, if you have systems and you develop great leadership, you should have all the time in the world to do whatever you want. Your business won't own you, you own your business, right? Like a lot of you need to learn how to stop working in your business and start working on your business. That's what we teach you how to do, is we teach you how to start thinking like a real business owner, how to start operating differently so you can start creating different and better results. From an actual time, like let's just get granular. Here's what I tell our students. If you have 5 to 7 hours a month to commit to this program, it will change your life forever. 5 to 7 hours per month. That's at a minimum. If you just are willing to do that, it'll change your business and life forever. Now, there's opportunities for you to commit more time to the program because we have tons of live coaching we do that you can utilize. But at a bare minimum, there are 12 parts to the Love, Serve, Grow framework, 12 training modules. Every single 30 days, you get access to a new training. It's a 4-part training, me teaching you on video with interactive study guides and assignments. It is a self-study program, so you go at your own pace on your own time. So you can take as little or as long as you want. You have the entire month to complete the 4-part training, which is never more than like 2 hours of content. The rest of the time, you're implementing and taking action what you're learning. We are a program that is focused not on information, it's focused on transformation. Transformation only comes from you taking action, having coaching, and having support. That's the only way you're going to transform your business.
Awesome. Thank you. The next question we have is, somebody says that you're probably very busy and they want to know what you do with your first hour of each day.
Yeah, I'm actually not that busy, which is funny because I practice what I preach. I am very intentional. I typically don't work nights. I don't work weekends. I take my son to school and pick him up from school every single day. My priorities are faith, family, and freedom. And everything I do in my business will be to create a life that I love. And I let go of the limiting belief that that wasn't possible a long time ago. I know that wasn't the question you asked, but I just felt like I needed to say that. Some people might need to hear me say that. I don't work really hard, but I work really smart. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Like, I don't like this stuff I teach you. Like, I do this in my life every day. Love, serve, grow. Like, belief, systems, leadership development. It's literally, I obsess over those 3 things. That's because that's what brought me total freedom in my life. But you're asking the wrong person that question right now, by the way. I have a 1-year-old as well. So what I do at the first hour of my day every day is try to somehow wake up before my son does, the baby, which is nearly impossible. I swear he has a GPS tracking device on me that the moment I walk down the stairs, he wakes up. So my first hour of the day is me feeding my 2 sons and trying to manage the craziness of getting the older one out to preschool in the morning. So that's what I do. But aside from that, when I finally get into my office and I'm working, I just try to be intentional with a routine. Like for me, it's just reading a couple of pages of a good book. I meditate in the mornings, right? So I try to. It usually takes me about 30 minutes to calm my mind down from the craziness of the kids in the morning. So I just try to have a little bit of quiet time where I can plan and think and be to myself. And I just find that sets me off on the right tone for the morning. So that's what I do.
Awesome. We love it. I love to know that you have a real life outside of this. So that's awesome.
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you, it is, being a dad is the most, all you moms know this even more than I do. It has been the most challenging, but the most rewarding thing of my life. I'll tell you, this stuff I'm teaching you tonight, we talk about how this transcends just your business. You want to know, for whatever this is worth to any of you. I remember my early mentor used to tell me, he said, Bob, he said, the best gift you're ever going to be given by being a part of this profession is the person you're going to become in pursuit of your goals. And I used to hear people say that all the time. And when I was broke and I wasn't making any money, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I just want the money, right? Because I don't have it. I'm broke. I'm living on a friend's couch right now. But here's what's so interesting is the minute you let go of your attachment to the results and the minute you stop obsessing and focusing on having them to feel better, you find that you'll start to attract them. And when you have them, you truly will realize that they're not what matters. You want to know what matters the most to me? The thing that I am most excited and proud about? The kind of father that I'm going to be to my 2 little boys. Being able to teach them this stuff, to demonstrate, that to me, I think I heard it said this way, the greatest gift that we will ever give to our children is our own capacity for happiness, love, and joy in our life. And I think about how my children are going to grow up being able to see their dad being okay with being their self. And I'm far from perfect, right? But being able to allow myself to have the personal freedom to feel joy in the moment and be happy and not constantly be worried about that next goal or that next achievement. I'm telling you, this stuff is going to change your life. It really is. And that's the reason why I don't know how people live in the world today that we live in without understanding what I'm teaching you tonight. I honestly don't know how somebody can live in the world today without knowing this. So that's why I believe that literally every single one of you needs to join this program, because I know what it's going to do for your business and life. Now, whether you do that or not, that's your choice. And if you choose not to, then hey, that's cool. Hopefully you got value out of tonight. Hopefully you'll continue to listen to the podcast. That's been a source of joy for me. But if you're really ready to go to that next level and you need that little nudge, this is the program that's going to give it to you. So hopefully some of you will decide to take me up on that offer.
Yes, do it. I highly recommend it. Awesome. Yay. Okay. Well, I think that is all the questions that we have. Again, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We loved everything that you had to say for us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me tonight. Jessica, I really appreciate it. Hey, listen, good luck. Keep pushing. How's it looking for you?
It's looking amazing. Because of your leadership program that I did last year, I actually went from senior ruby to emerald and sapphire in 2020. So it was crazy. It was amazing. And I loved it, every part of it. And our team is amazing.
That's awesome. Well, listen, you all are lucky to be on her team. She's a great leader. And you guys are lucky to be in this company, because I love me some Plexus. So my son does the drink and the vitamins every morning. Me and my wife are always stealing the vitamins as well, but I got a cabinet full of Plexus products 24/7. So I love the company. I love the products. I love the people in your company, and you guys are in the right place. So all that means, though, is you don't have any excuses. If you don't succeed, it's your fault and no one else's. So just let's leave you with that. But you can do this. So thanks for having me tonight, everybody. And have a great night. Take care.
Thank you.